Now, once we click inside the container, we are ready to start drawing. And we're going to be drawing if we hold the mouse key and move the mouse. But inside our function at the moment, we are going to initiate the drawing only, which means that we're going to use the method begin path of the context and also the method move to, which is going to move to the initial point. And we're going to need the coordinates of this point. So let's do something simple. So let's say our initial point has got coordinates 5, 5. Okay, so first of all, we need to begin the path. So we're gonna use the method begin path. Okay, and then we're gonna move to the initial point using move to, and we're gonna use its coordinates. Okay, so in our case, the point we're talking about is the position of the mouse. So we need to use the x variable and the y variable, which are the properties of the mouse variable that we defined earlier, which is this one. Okay, so 5 is going to be replaced by mouse.x, and the other 5 is going to be replaced by mouse.y. But first of all, we need to define mouse.x and mouse.y, which are the coordinates of the mouse inside the container, because initially they are set to 0, 0, which corresponds to the top left point, and we are not there, we are there. Okay, so to get the x coordinates of the mouse, what we're going to do, we're going to get the coordinates of the mouse in the page, okay, the x coordinates of the mouse in the page, and we're going to get the distance between the container and the left border of the page, and the difference is going to give us the x variable or the x coordinates of the mouse. Okay, so again, so we're going to get that distance, and we're going to get that distance, and the difference between that and that is going to give us that distance, which is the x coordinates of our mouse inside the container. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to need to place a variable event inside our function, so we can call it anything. I'm going to call it e. Okay, so the x coordinates of the mouse is going to be e dot page x. So this refers to the distance between the mouse and the left border of the page. Okay, and we are going to take out the distance between the container and that border. Okay, so to access the container, we're going to use the keyword this, okay, because we are inside the container, and we're going to use the property offset left. Okay, so this is going to give us the distance between the container and the left border of the page. Okay, so this is going to give us the x coordinates of the mouse inside the container. Now let's get the y coordinates. It's going to be exactly the same thing. So it's just going to change x by y. Okay, and offset left by offset top. Okay, and it's going to be the difference between the distance from the mouse to the top border and the distance from the top border of the container to the top border of the page. Okay, now we're going to move to the next function, which is looking at moving the mouse inside the container. Okay, so I'm going to copy paste the same code, I'm just going to change the method mouse down to mouse move. Okay. And let's write our code inside. So you're going to keep the E objects. So first of all, once we move the mouse inside the container, we need to track the coordinates of the mouse. So we're going to change the coordinates of the mouse using the same code. All right. And then we are going to check if we are holding the mouse key. So if we are holding the mouse key, this means that the variable paint is going to be true, because we're going to be either painting or erasing. So we are going to check if the variable paint equals true. Okay. And then we're going to have a couple of scenarios. So you're going to be either painting or erasing. So we're going to check the variable paint erase. Okay. So if it's equal to paint, this means that we are painting. So we are going to choose the color of the line using the color input. Okay. Otherwise, if we are erasing, the color is going to be white. Okay. So to change the color of our line, we're going to use the property stroke style of the context. So to do that, we're going to write the context and then use the stroke style property, and we're going to get the input color. So for now, let's just set this to a simple color, red, for example, and we're going to come back to this later. Now, if we are erasing, we're going to use a white color. Okay. So now we have set the color and we are ready to draw our line. So to draw the line, we're going to access the context again, and we're going to use the method line2. Okay. So we're going to go to the points of coordinates mouse.x and mouse.y. Okay, and to show the line, we're going to use the method stroke. So let's save this and make sure it's working. So if I click inside the container and keep holding the mouse key and move the mouse, then we can see a red line. Okay. Now if I stop holding the mouse and I move the mouse, I can still see that I'm still drawing a red line. And the reason why is because we haven't written any code for that. Okay. So let's go back to the mouse app step and write some code so that once we go to the mouse app event, we stop drawing. So again, we're going to access the container and we're going to use this time mouse app. Okay, and then inside the method, we're going to write a function. This time we don't need the E objects. So what we're going to do here, we're going to set the paint variable to false, because we're not going to be painting anymore and we're not going to be erasing anymore. Okay, and let's just go quickly and do the same thing for the next step. Okay, so if we leave the container, we're going to be doing exactly the same thing. And the event is mouse leave. So let's save and try this. So now if I click inside the container and start moving the mouse while holding the mouse key, you can see a red line. Now if I stop holding the mouse key, then I'm not painting anymore. Okay. Now to be able to erase, we need to code the functionality of the erase button. So I'm going to jump to the erase step. So we're going to access the button using its ID, which is erase. Okay. So once we click on the button, we want to execute the following function. So we are going to change to the erase mode if we are already in the painting mode, and if we are in the erase mode, we're going to go back to the painting mode. So we're going to check the variable paint erase. Okay, so if it equals paint, we are going to set it to erase. Okay. Otherwise, we are going to set it to paint. Okay. So let's save and try again. So let's click on the erase button. And now we are actually erasing. Okay. If we look at the final app, we will see that once we click on the erase button and we move to the erase mode, we can see that the button has got new styling. So we're going to create a new class. And once we click on the button, we're going to be toggling between the two classes, the original class and the red class. So let's go to our CSS file and add a class there. Okay. I'm going to call it erase mode. Okay. And basically we're going to give it a background color, red. And also the text inside the button is going to be white. Okay, save that and go back to our jQuery code. So we're going to access the button. We can use the keyword this, okay, because we are already inside the button. We are selecting the button. Okay, so we're going to use the toggle class method, and we're going to pass the name of our class, which is erase mode. Okay, let's just double check. Okay. Now let's try again. Okay, it's working perfectly. All right. Now let's move to the reset button step. So once we click on the reset button, okay, we are going to execute the following function. And we want this function to empty our canvas. So to do that, we're going to use a method of the context called clear rectangle. So this function is going to take 4 parameters and is going to clear a rectangle area. So the first 2 parameters are going to be the coordinates of the top left point, and the other 2 parameters are going to be the coordinates of the bottom right point. And the result is going to be to clear that rectangle area. So let's get the context and use the method clear rectangle like that. So in our case, we want to clear the rectangle area starting there. That's the top left point, and that's the bottom right point. Basically the rectangle corresponding to our canvas. So the top left point is going to be 0, 0. And the top or the bottom right point is going to be the width of the canvas and the height of the canvas. Okay, that's the width and that's the height. Okay, so canvas width and canvas height. Okay. Also, once we click on the reset button, even if we are in the erase mode, we're going to move back to the painting mode. And also we lose the red class of the erase button. So we're going to change the paint erase variable to paint as we're going back to the painting mode. And also we're going to access the erase button, and we're going to make sure that we remove the class which is erase mode. Okay, so let's save this and try it. So if we draw something there and click on reset, it's working. Let's try again. Move to the erase mode and click on reset, and we go back to the paint mode. Okay.